Let's use the p5jsduino to produce a theremin. You'll need the following objects: a USB cable, a microbit, 3 jumper wires with female headers, and a photoresistor module, or light sensor module. First, connect the jumper wires to the pins of the photoresistor module labeled VCC, GND, and AO. Connect the other end of the jumper wires to the microbit, connecting ground to ground, VCC to 3 volts, and AO to port 0. Finally, use the USB cable to connect the microbit to your computer. Once your microbit is plugged into the computer, go to the following web address: makesense.co/p5jsduino. Once you're on this web page, scroll down to the sample programs section, and then find the one that says Theremin, light sensor attached to port 0 controls the frequency of an oscillator, and click on the link underneath it. This opens up the code that we'll use to create our Theremin system. And then, if you click on Run Code, and then move your hand over, bring your hand up and down over the photoresistor, you'll notice that your computer should produce different notes, depending on how close your hand is to the photoresistor. Now let's go over the code. In lines 1 and 2, we create variables that will be used later. In line 6, we tell the computer to create the canvas seen down here. In line 8, we tell the computer to create an oscillator object, and essentially this will give us control over the computer's audio system so we can produce sounds at different notes or different frequencies. And in line 9, we enable this object, this oscillator object. In line 14, we tell the computer to make the background of the canvas white. In line 16, we use the analog read function to get readings from the photoresistor module. And so essentially what's happening here is we're telling the computer to go to the microbit and take a reading of the sensor connected to port 0. And that reading will come back as a number between 0 and 1023. And we're going to store that number in the variable sensor reading. And then in line 18, we use that value stored in sensor reading as a frequency. And the oscillator object will produce sound waves at that frequency. Notice that these two lines of code fall within the draw function. Recall that the draw function essentially operates as a loop. This means that the computer is continuously retrieving data from the photoresistor module. This then also means that the frequency of the sound waves is being updated in real time.